is why you have a MacBook Pro in the 16-inch space. Other than that, I think the fact that maybe you can't toggle your graphics and all of that, but that's all very trivial stuff. But frankly, for somebody like me, this is like a perfect device because it also gives me the extra screen space. It gives me the ability to work on maybe multiple browsers at the same time, which you cannot really do on a 13-inch. And often, if you're looking at big Excel sheets and all of that, you need this kind of big space. And I think for students also, 15-inch makes more sense than a 13-inch. If you are if you're doing certain kinds of things. So I would suggest, or I would think, this would suddenly become maybe the most popular MacBook Air out there, right? Before we take the questions, I think let's come to the second device. Second device is the OnePlus Pad. Now you're seeing the OnePlus Pad here with the keyboard, which is the Magic Keyboard, and the stylus. These are both extra, so you have to pay extra for all of this. I'm sure the first thing that occurred to a lot of people is that this looks like the iPad Pro. And that is the intention. It is made to look like, this device is made to look like the iPad, and that is maybe the most unique thing about this device. But why? After this, Xiaomi has also come up with the latest version of its tablet. But this is a very stylish device. What you see here is a green color. I'm not sure if it comes through. The cover is also in green. It has one camera. It has the stylus which goes on top because of the magnet, and it also charges there, right? But it's a very, very thin, very compact device which you can easily carry around even without the cover. So it's pretty easy to use. And you can see, let me just open. Trying to do the stylus is also pretty good. It's pretty smooth. In the Android space, I think after the Samsung, which has the best styluses across the board, this is the best stylus you can buy. This is very smooth. You can play around with the nibs and all of that. So this is also good because OnePlus has thought through the UI of the tablet. So the UI works perfectly well for a tablet. It's not like a smartphone UI which has been put into a large 10-inch kind of a screen. This is a tablet UI. It also understands that you are using a stylus, so things change accordingly. You don't have to sort of force it to do things extra. The keyboard works perfectly well. And in fact, as a unit, so you have to pay about 15,000 rupees extra for the stylus plus this keyboard, which is about 8,000 rupees for the keyboard and about 7,000 rupees for the stylus. The device itself is about 38,000 rupees. So let's say the net package is 53. You might get some offers and all which will take it lower, but this is as good as a tablet, right? And I cannot say that for a lot of the Android tablets out there, except for maybe the Samsung series tablets. So I think Android tablets are sort of making a comeback. Where OnePlus has an advantage is that this has been made for a person who wants to use an Android tablet for work. So this is not just a tablet for the heck of it. So it's a powerful tablet. It has like WPS Office, and a lot of the other things are sort of aligned to let you work on it, right? And the keyboard is perfect if you want to type. It has a trackpad, which you usually don't find in a lot of the Android keyboards. So overall, it works very well. I really like this device. And I would say this is maybe the closest competitor after the Samsung to the iPad and the iPad Pro. But it's interesting that you're getting competition in this space. So because the net package is much cheaper than the iPad Pro, and a lot of people might want a tablet but their phone is an Android, so it makes more sense to actually look at a tablet in the Android space than get into the iOS space just for your tablet needs. Again, I couldn't find many negatives with this device. It is priced reasonably well. Even for, like, if you look at it in comparison, the Apple keypad is about 15,000 plus, the stylus is about 10,000 plus, Apple Pencil is about 10,000 rupees plus. So all of that, this is much more affordable. It is pretty usable, and also it gives you the feel that there's a device that is very durable. It's going to last. I think 2-3 years of use should be pretty okay with this thing. So if you're looking for an extra screen that you want to walk around with or carry with for your travels, I think the OnePlus Pad is a pretty good device. Do we have any questions that we have seen so far?
Do we have on Instagram?
Okay, so I have one question that I can see is, again, I answered it a little bit, is the difference between the MacBook Air 13 and the 15. The difference is primarily in the size, the extra screen, the battery is larger. You're also getting extra GPU, so it's more powerful from a graphics perspective. The processor is pretty much the same because it has a bigger it has better graphics and a larger screen. The extra battery is not going to give you more time from a battery life perspective. I think the other thing is, can you really work on an Android tablet? Yes. In fact, I was traveling a few weeks back. I used this as the only computer I had at that time. I was on leave, but still, you can use this for almost everything. Excel sheets, where I do a lot of my work, pretty well. Large Excel sheets, computing, as in coming up with answers on a large Excel sheet, again, not a problem at all. You can write very well because the keyboard is pretty good. If you are an artist or a creator, the stylus works very well. It is very touch sensitive. The software is good enough for this. My only grouse is, again, that's not a OnePlus problem, is that the Android ecosystem has really not evolved in the tablet space. It's not like an iPad where you have a lot of apps which have been made to work well on the iPad. You still don't have enough apps for tablet on the Android. That is my only sort of grouse. Otherwise, I think you are now at a point where you can take around an Android tablet to work. I guess one more question that a lot of people would ask is, like, what else can you do on a MacBook Air? And I think I'll show you a couple of use cases. One is this very interesting new app which is coming up. Let me just also qualify that it's a paid app. It's an app called Photometer. What does Photometer do? Photometer uses AI to do a lot of things on your tablet. Now let's just try Photometer for a bit. Let me take a photograph. Okay, let me see and edit it. Okay, so this is the Photometer app. You some. So this has some very interesting features, most of which is using AI. And you will see, for instance, how quickly this works on something. Now see, I have picked one color and got it replaced by another color, and you will see that it was almost instant, right? And there are, you have many operations like this, and again, what you're seeing is a raw HDR image. It is shot on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but it's a very heavy image. Again, you see how fast the monochroming works on this. Even with the monochroming, you can see that I can change the intensity. Again, it's really fast. Let me just show you some of the AI features. 1 second. Here what you're seeing is something called the ML crop. I don't know what this is. So this is like your old magic tool, the patch tool. It's really fast. ML tool. So here you will see that it is actually retaining the background when I am actually applying a color layer on top. Which earlier, like if you've used any of these kind of tools before, you will not be able to retain the background. It will just smudge the new color on top, right? I'm not very good at this kind of thing. So see, so it's retaining that, and then it's added the new layers on top really fast. Again, lots of things. The only problem is this is a paid tool. I'm using a free version, so you cannot take an output for any of these. More questions that we have? Pricing, okay. The MacBook Air starts at 1,35,000. It can go up a little bit depending on your configuration. The OnePlus starts at 37,990, 699 for 6,999 for the stylus, which is 7,000 rupees, and 8,000 rupees for the keyboard. Depending on where you buy it, you might get it a little bit cheap.
And what are the pros and cons of MacBook Air 15?
The MacBook Air, the size is the pro. For many people, it is the con also. If that is the con for you, then go for the 13-inch. Again, as powerful. The other big con, the other big pro is that you have extra real estate. So basically, if you're opting for a 15 from a 13, it is because you want the extra real estate, right? And you are going to use it maybe to edit video or play games, because this also has a better GPU. So that is the con. It also has a larger battery, but it really doesn't reflect in the extra battery life. The major cons, as I said, is maybe again the size, right? Unless you really don't need the size, you really don't need to look at a 15-inch. You should be happy with the 14-inch. Again, it is also pricey because it's about 1,35,000 starting. But again, how you look at buying an Apple device is that this is going to last you 7-8 years, which most other devices won't. So again, price is a con if you look at it that way, but if you look at the lifetime value of the device, this is actually going to work out cheaper in the long run. Okay, so that's the first episode. I think I've bored you long enough. If you think this format works, tell us. If you want us to add anything else in our coming segments next week, tell us that. If you want us to pick up a device, especially one which you think that me or somebody else in the Indian Express Tech team has reviewed, you want to talk about it, tell us. We will plan accordingly and we will come back with more devices. Till then, goodbye.